Hey everybody, it's Captain Matt down here at Pogies Fishing Center. Today we're going to be showing you how to tie a Carolina rig. It's one of the simple rigs that makes red fishing that much better and that much easier. And it's just really easy to tie. Works for a lot of bottom feeding fish. So to start with, you're going to need your fluorocarbon leader. Always use fluorocarbon. We're going to go with Seaguar Red Label today. This is 30 pound just for our instructional. I usually like to use 40 pound for my rigs. It just really depends on what kind of structure you're around, but this will work right now. I like to use about 2 foot a leader. That's just me. That's not the whole rig. It's not going to be 2 feet. It's just what you use to start your rig with. Now, this is a modified Carolina rig we're using. This is something I learned from Captain Jonathan Garrett. And it works out really well, and all of us at the shop here have adapted it. To start with, you're going to use your circle hook. Always use the circle hook when you're fishing on bottom. It just really helps with your hookup ratio and ensures that you're not going to gut hook that fish. Anytime you use that circle hook, you're always really going to want to snell it. So the snell knot I use is called the knotless knot, or your simple snell. So you're going to go through the front of the eye, down the back of the shank of the hook. You're going to hold that tight in place, and then we're going to make 7 to 8 wraps, as tight as you can, right down the shank of that hook. And you're going to want to hold them in place, and then take your fore end of your line and come back through the front of the hook. And you always want to be coming out of the hook from the front like that. If you come out from the back, you'll start to miss your hookups. You always want to come out of the front like that. If we had a little more time, I could show you. We might do a separate video on that where I can show you how the hookup ratio differs when you come through the front, but for now we'll just say that you always want it to be there. Clip that tag. Give the knot a good tug. Just make sure you've got it tight. What you want to do is come about halfway down. I usually go to the bottom of the hook just so you've got a little bit to make up for the knots you're going to tie. And about right there, halfway, come back and you're going to tie an overhand knot. Just a simple little overhand knot like that. Tighten down. Once you get that tight, you're going to come back with your bead. I like to use as small bead as possible on these rigs. It's just something that helps you not get tangled up and just doesn't catch on as much. These are 3mm that I'm using right here. And you're going to come down, and then that knot we tied earlier is going to catch that bead. Then we're going to go with our egg weight. I like to use a 3/4 ounce. For me, on the inshore waters we're fishing around Swansboro, it just works really well for me and everything that we do. So once we get that weight on there, we're going to come back, use our swivel, and anytime I'm tying a knot directly to something, I like to use a uni knot. So when you tie a uni knot, it's going to be a little hard to show, but you're going to go through the eye. I always make a wrap around my fingers to make that loop. It just helps you get something in place. And once I get right there, you'll start making your loops around the other side. Now, something else I like to do, because when you tie your fluorocarbon, if you cinch your knot and then tighten down, you'll get a bunch of kinks and warps in your line. Something to help reduce on that is to kind of pull your knot tight. Not tight, but get it a little better, and then when you pull down, use the end of the hook, or use the end of your swivel right there to tighten it down, and that'll really help you cut down on having that crimp in your line. Clip that right there. And there's our finished product. You've got your Carolina rig. It's a modified rig where your weight is actually on your leader. That way the whole rig stays together. It really helps with casting, and it really helps when you're fishing around structure, just so you don't get everything kind of disconnected and slid around from each other. And that right there is your modified Carolina rig. You can come by Pogies and you can buy some we have pre-tied for you, or you can come in and we'll help you buy your own materials and show you how to tie them yourself.
What are you doing? Wait, well, stop.